Hi folks, this is Steve here from ULearn. I just want to welcome you to our first Google Hangout, and just to show you what we're going to be doing over the coming weeks and months. Basically, we want to offer everybody the opportunity to come and meet our teachers and to engage in some free online classes. I'm going to use this particular Hangout right now just as a demonstration to show you guys the type of things we're going to do. So let's get started with the first example of a ULearn Google Hangout, which we're calling 30-minute English. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to share a screen with you now. If you're watching this, you're going to see a different screen. You're not going to see me anymore. So let's take a look at what that is going to be like. So right now, if you're watching this, you should all see idioms. And that's, for example, what we'll be talking about in these 30-minute English lessons. So idioms, obviously, they're very important in English. They're a key part of anybody's vocabulary, and native speakers, we use them all the time. So let's scroll on to our next section. Here's a short extract. I'll read it out for you. It says, "Learning a new language can be difficult. When I started learning English, I felt I was out of my depth. Of course, I know there are no shortcuts to success." Okay, in that short section, for example, I've got two idioms placed, and I wonder if you were able to see what they were. So let's take a look at it again. Learning a new language can be difficult. When I started learning English, I felt I was out of my depth. Okay, that's our first one. Of course, I know there are no shortcuts to success. So no shortcuts to success. Shortcuts, that's another example of an idiom in this extract. Now let's look at those more closely. When I started learning English, I felt I was out of my depth. So we're dealing with the expression out of one's depth, his depth or your depth, for example. Let's look at that even closer. So deep is an adjective. For example, the deep water. Depth is the noun form of that adjective. So the depth of the water. So to be out of depth. Okay, so let's take a look again. Something else. So I was out of my depth. It was too deep for me. It was too difficult for me. I did not think I could do it. Okay, so that's the first idiom that we're looking at. I was out of my depth. Now, when we're going to be broadcasting these classes live, what will happen is you will see just under this screen different boxes of all the different students who will be attending the online lesson. And we'll give you the opportunity to practice using those idioms. So for example, if I've got somebody in the class, I'll say, for example, Jose, give me an example sentence using the idiom out of my depth. And then Jose will give me an example, and if he's correct, I'll say fantastic. And if he's not correct, I'll say, I'm sorry, Jose, you're out of the class. No, I won't say that. But anyway, it's something like that. So that's an example of the type of thing we're going to be doing. Now let me show you some more of that. So I'll continue with the idiom lesson just to give you a better idea of what we're doing. Okay, so I'll go back over here. We're back into this. So we'll continue. We're back into the first quotation, the first extract. Learning a new language could be difficult. When I started learning English, I felt I was out of my depth. Of course, I know there are no shortcuts to success. So at the beginning of this little lesson, I told you that this was the second idiom. Okay, so let's take a closer look at that right now. Of course, I know there are no shortcuts to success. That's the idiom highlighted for you. Okay, we'll take a closer look again. A shortcut is a faster method or a quicker way, or for example, an easy way or an easier way to do something. So it takes me 50 minutes to drive to work in the morning. I wish there was a that I could take. Now for that last example, obviously there's a space, there's a blank there that I could take. Okay, so that's an example of how we'll give you, the students, the opportunity to fill in the blanks and start practicing using your idioms for this online lesson. Okay, that's basically it. We're going to show you some new vocabulary, new idioms, new expressions. We'll show you examples of them, the structures of them. We'll give you the opportunity to practice your new language live in this online lesson. And then we'll give you some exercises to do, which hopefully by that time you'll have gained new information, you'll have increased your vocabulary, and you'll have improved your English, all in 30 minutes. Couldn't be easier. That's it for me today. So we'll be starting these lessons officially next week. I hope to see some of you joining me next week, and that's it. Goodbye.